Yo, what's good guys? It's Bino Beats here, and today I'm going to show you guys how I made the loop for the track called Autumn on Scorey's new album called If You Feel Lost. Let's get on into it. First off, I just want to say that Scorey's an artist who I've really wanted to work with for a while, so actually getting a track on his album is a super good feeling. Just the overall production and sound of his music is something that's influenced my sound a lot, so to actually be part of his new album is such a good feeling. And I worked on the loop with Jkei beats, and then we sent that over to Shantu Crazy and he added the drums and then sent it over to Scorey. Around the same time we made this loop, me and Jkei were really locked in, and we made a lot of loops in the style for Scorey. And we actually just dropped a new loop kit called Lost that has 10 guitar samples in the same style, and it's completely free. The link is in the description if you want to go get it. Start off the loop, I got the starter from Jkei. So then what I do with that starter is I sped it up a bunch. So right now it's at 140 BPM, but a lot of Scorey songs are a bit faster. Not all of them, but I sped it up to around 168 BPM. I also took it up one semitone, but just to avoid any potential copyright issues, I'll keep it at the same pitch right now. I added my first layer over top of the starter. Let me show you guys how I played that on the guitar. I probably actually didn't record it at 168 BPM. I probably actually recorded that closer to the 140 that the original starter was at, and then sped it up all after. So it sounds like I just played this. But then the effects make a big difference. So what I have is I'm going into this archetype Corey Wong amp, and this is actually a super clean preset. You can see the preset I used here, clean as a whistle, and I don't think I made any changes to it. Then I put it into a shaper box, and basically what the shaper box does is that pans it from side to side. Portal. So this is something I use on a lot of my guitar sounds, and I think it gives it a really kind of good Scorey sound. And I'll show you with and without Portal, and you can see the difference. And then here's with Portal. And literally all I'm doing is I'm on the very default preset when you open Portal, and I have the wet all the way up. All it's really doing, from my understanding, is kind of a tremolo effect. And then the last thing I added is just a guitar rig, and that has a bit of delay and a bit of reverb. So the next guitar layer added is this. And when you actually listen to that melody, it is super simple. It's literally just two notes repeating it over and over again, like an arpeggio. But when you keep kind of two notes constant throughout an entire melody and then change kind of any leads or bass line over top of that, it kind of just acts as a pedal note throughout the entire melody and just creates more emotion. And that's literally just these two notes. And what I have over top of that is the same kind of Corey Wong preset. And then similarly, a lot of delay and reverb on this one to tuck it in the back. And then I've actually taken this entire layer and panned it a lot to the left just to make the loop feel a lot more open and wide. When the drop comes in, I've also added one other guitar layer, and here's what it sounds like. So a few things. First off, it's a super simple melody, and similar to that other layer I was adding before, this just creates a lot of repetitiveness, but also emotion throughout the entire loop. My playing also wasn't super that clean. You can kind of hear a string kind of being hit in the background that I should have hit that just sounds bad when you listen by itself. But in the context of the entire loop, nobody hears any of this stuff, and if anything, having these little imperfections just make it honestly a better, more humanistic loop. So here's how I play that on guitar. I palm muted it, and it's just the simple melody. The effects on this one, pretty similar. Same Corey Wong preset, although I think I made slight changes here to it. Guitar rig, tad delay and reverb. This one I had a sound godizer, and all this is doing is compressing it and bringing out the high end a little bit more because I want it to stick out a bit, and then just EQ. And we can actually see, similar to the first layer, I've also panned this one, but this one I'm panning it to the right. So then the combination of the two just makes it sound really open. The only other thing I added after I recorded it was these reverse notes that kind of just lead into the start of the next bar really nicely. So this particular section ends with one note, and then this particular section ends with another note, and it's basically just at the end of each section, the same note is reversing, so then when it starts the new bar, it really just transitions nicely into it. So here's what it sounds like with those reverse notes. So you can listen from just the starter, and then when we go into adding those two layers, it just makes the sound feel a lot more open because we're panning from side to side and keeping super simple melodies going at the same time. So now I'm going to speed everything up back to 168 because I'm done recording guitar and I'm just adding accents to it. If you want to get really good sounding accent guitar layers that you can add over top of your existing loops just to make them sound a lot more emotional, I would suggest checking out my Poetic Pain Essentials sample making multi-kit. So essentially what that kit comes with is it comes with a bunch of standalone loops, but also tons of guitar layers and phrases that you can add over top. It comes with arpeggios like this that you can add over top. It comes with melodies like the first layer I created that you can add over top, and they're all key and BPM labeled, so it's super easy to drag and drop into your existing loops and just add more layers and emotion to them. And it's not just guitar layers, it's also piano, vocals, textures, perks, transitions, little drum layers, and just things that can take your loops to the next level. So I definitely suggest checking that out. The link will be in the description. The next layer I added is this reverse guitar from Splice. The original sample was a bit harsh, so I added a lot of effects to it, just tuck it in the background a little bit more, but here's what it sounds like. In terms of effects on that, there's a lot of reverb, a lot of EQs to just really cut out the harsh high ends, and then a shaper box to really pan it from side to side. The next layer added is this reverse vocal and just kind of acts as an accent as well as a transition between different sections of the loop, and it's actually also from my Poetic Pain Essentials multi-kit, so definitely check that out. To then almost act as a bit of a pad, I added this one shot and then added tons of reverb from it, and the one shot's also from my Poetic Pain kit, but you can kind of listen to it by itself and see what it sounds like. It's actually playing the same two notes that were in that original guitar arpeggio, just da 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 da. Just add a bit of a different rhythm to add syncopation, and then it's just the bass notes of the whole entire progression. And this actually plays throughout the entire loop, but you can hear it when I play it with the original starter, like you can barely hear it. It's very subtle. I added a lot of reverb to it and almost acts as like a pad. I then added an arcade vocal chop, and these are actually kind of the vocals that you can hear Scorey kind of humming to in the intro and outro of the song. So these particular vocals are from the Spread Your Wings preset in arcade, and here's what they sound like with effects. And then to add variation at a later part in the loop, I just go into a pitched up version of it. So in terms of effects on that, what it sounds like dry is this. It's definitely cool sounding, but it's pretty harsh. So I add a lot of reverb on that with the first guitar rig. You see I use a lot of the effects on all of my effect chains. To give that pulsating effect, what I'm adding is shaper box, and the shaper box is one, panning it from side to side, but also doing this volume effect. That's going every kind of quarter bar, and because of that, it just makes it super fast-paced tremolo. I'm then adding more reverb after, and then just cutting out a bit of the low and high end frequencies to tuck it in the back of it. The last layer I add is this texture, and it's also for my poetic paint kit. What it's really acting is a drone throughout the entire loop. So similar to a lot of the other guitar layers I've added, it's basically just playing a few different notes that are in the key of B minor in this case, and it's holding them constant throughout the entire texture, but it kind of acts as kind of constant melodic information that as you change the bass notes throughout the chord progression, it just makes it really emotional and adds a lot of tension. By itself, not that crazy, but when you add it to the original starter, and the last layer, super simple, just a growler Moog bass from Omnisphere. Now that I have all the layers together, what I often do in a lot of my loops is I'll take all the melodic layers, so everything other than the bass progression, the growler Moog, and I'll put them all to their own separate mixer channel, and then I'll kind of add effects that kind of blend all the melodies together. So here's what it sounds like with any of those effects that I added over top of all the melodic layers. And here's what it sounds like with them. So it was this RC20. All that's doing is just warping it a little bit, changing the tone, distorting it a little bit, but very subtle. I also had a sound geyser just to bring out some of the low end and compress it. I added that same portal preset, but turned the wet dry down a lot, so it's a lot more subtle, and this is over the entire loop. And then I had a guitar rig just with a little bit more reverb to glue all the sounds together. Awesome, so that's the full loop. Overall, it's super simplistic. Like the most complex melody throughout the entire loop is that very first guitar layer added, and it only plays at select parts in the loop. For the most part, I'm just kind of playing really repetitive melodies and almost arpeggios over top and just adding different melodic accents here and there, but I'm not really trying to make a complicated melody that's going out and changing throughout the entire loop, because then it'd be super hard to rap over. And the thing that Scorey looks for in his loops is just really melodic, obviously guitar, something super simple and repetitive that it's just easy to rap over. Thank you guys so much for watching this tutorial. I know it's been a minute since I've uploaded a tutorial, but definitely going to get back into the habit of doing that. Let me know in the comments below what type of tutorials you would want to see in the future, particular artists or anything like that, and I can definitely get to them. Really appreciate it, guys. I'll see you in the next one, and here's the full loop.